Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and today I'm doing a book haul. This is from a library sale, so it was very cheap. I got 12 books for $7.50 and I had a lot of fun doing it. These are not new glasses, by the way. They're those pair eyewear things, which they act like you can stack them and everything, but like I can definitely see them even when there's only one layer on there. They make the lenses thicker this way and I might be able to get used to it, but I'm not sure about that. Also, they're vastly overpriced for a thin little piece of plastic, but the glasses themselves are not overpriced. They are these because I have to get thin lenses because my prescription's so strong. Were $120. The base price is $60. But if you just need regular glasses, it's a whole lot cheaper, or even just my type of glasses, it's a whole lot of it cheaper than we could get at our eye doctor, even with insurance. So yeah, cheap glasses that are still good quality as far as I can tell. I've had these for 4 or 5 months and they still work good. But yeah, just don't get sucked into buying a bunch of the toppers for $25 each. Now that I'm done shilling, I was neither gifted nor asked to promote these. I just like to share when I find relatively cheap stuff. Let's start the haul. Like 3 of these I found at a thrift store and they were like $1 each at the thrift store, whereas all the rest of these are going to be 25 cents for a paperback and 50 cents for hardback. And maybe 50 cents for an oversized paperback, which I got a few of. Hi, Frodo. He really wants attention. He says you're not paying attention to me, you're just watching that stupid camera. Okay, so first, I got these because I found them in a row all together. Where's the other one? But I found all 3 of the Sign of Seven trilogy, which I already had 1 of, so I bought the other 2. Yeah, I like Nora Roberts a fair amount, and I like having a complete trilogy because I'm more likely to read it. Plus, this is book 1 of the trilogy, which I had book 2 before. So I'm much more likely to pick them up now that I'll have the whole story, even though usually Nora Roberts trilogies are separate romances in each one, so you can read them separately. Ones like this have a lot of magic in them, so it's probable that they'll be a bit more heavily interlinked than the ones that are just like all the brothers in a family or all the sisters in the family getting married in a row. Oh yeah, this is the 3rd one right here. It's the Sign of Seven trilogy. So I'm looking forward to reading those when I want a nice relaxing fantasy romance. Another Nora Roberts. I think this one was from the thrift store, and it's Dream Makers, which has both Untamed and Less of a Stranger in it. So it's 2 like medium length stories. It looks like they're each about 150 pages, maybe 200, almost 200 pages each. So it's a nice chunky little thing. Then my last mass market paperback, I think, is Winds of Fate by Mercedes Lackey. And first of all, it's got a purple spine, which I enjoy, but also look at this cover. It's got like a beautiful horse on it and cool lady with a shield and a sword. A lot of Mercedes Lackey's books that I've seen have really pretty covers. I don't know if they're from the 90s or the 80s. 91. So, but yeah, I haven't actually read anything by Mercedes Lackey yet, but I found a few of their books used, so I'm kind of considering like maybe I should look up a list and like see if somebody has recommendations for where to start with Mercedes Lackey, or maybe I could just dive into one of the ones that I own, because I think this one's a standalone. So I could try it and see if it's good. But I think the other one that I own is in the middle of a series. But yeah, this one also just generally speaks to my book collector heart as opposed to my book reader heart, which are like intertwined, but also not entirely the same. Okay, I got, oh, let's do these 2 next. These were from the thrift store. This one is called I Don't Know How She Does It. Which is about a working mom, and I think it's about her having a crisis and realizing that doing it all by herself is not a good idea, or other people realizing that they shouldn't make her do it all by herself. But I mainly got it because it's pink for my pink bookshelves. Similarly, this Laugh With Me is by Barbara Johnson, and it's a comedy book with a few like little comics in it like that, but mostly text. And I do enjoy comedy books, but I did mostly get it for the spine/cover. Okay, then I spent quite a bit of time in the juniors section and got The Dragon at the North Pole, which is part of a series, but they're very short, so I can get started on them and reach this one fairly quickly, I think. I love dragon stories, and I always am looking for more dragon stories, so if I find one, I'm gonna grab it. Then, The White Witch. People have long whispered about Gwendolyn Riston, her way with animals, her skill with plants, and most of all, her pale skin and white hair. Now a great and terrible plague has come to England, and no one is safe, least of all Gwen, who the villagers have begun to call the White Witch. I really like stories about people who are good with animals and plants, and I also like stories about the bad guys picking on someone because they look weird or act different, and assumingly get their comeuppance for being exclusionary jerks. Then this one also got because it has a dragon on it. He's a little bit more difficult to see, but he's a scary looking dragon as opposed to a nice looking dragon. This is called Thrones and Bones. I think this is the first book in a series or a standalone. I don't think it's in the middle. The tagline is, "Smelly trolls, the walking dead, and a fire-breathing dragon named Orm are no match for Karn and Tiana, two heroes with pluck and smarts." So the dragon might be a bad guy, but I don't mind that so much. It's got your classic boy-girl pairing, but cool thing about the girl is that she is a half-frost giantess. So she's the bigger one on the cover, and that really appeals to me. Then the Stone Girl's story, which appears to include a griffin, which is very cool. Meka and her stone family were brought to life by the stories etched into their bodies. Now time is eroding these vital marks, and Meka must find a stonemason to repair them, which is like artificial intelligence, but in an artist sort of way instead of in a sciencey kind of way, which I always like exploring that. Alright, this is from the YA section. It's called Full Moon, which is a Dark Guardian novel, but I'm pretty sure you can read them as standalones. There's an earlier one, but I think they're all romances that like each have their own pairing. So I'm going to try this one out because I have been wanting to read more paranormal fantasy, because when it flops, it flops, but when it hits really well. And it's quite short, so like, if it's not that great, at least it won't last that long. Then Avalon, Web of Magic, Full Circle. This is by Rachel Roberts, and I read like 3/4 of this series when I was a kid. That was all they had published up to, and now I'm vastly confused by there's like 3 different series, and I'm not sure at all which are the ones I haven't read, and I'm not sure I would remember enough of the plot to pick it up without rereading the whole thing anyway. So I'm thinking about either picking up about halfway through or just rereading the whole thing. It's a middle grade series that I really love. It's got 3 mages, and they are like magical animal shelter runners, animal sanctuary runners, and they also go to the other worlds that the animals are from to try to stop the bad things that are chasing the animals that they need to be safe from in the first place. And there's this web of magic that you like travel on through portals, and yeah, there's a ton of world building. I really like how the characters grow over the series, and this is a very different style cover than I have seen. But the more of these I collect, the easier it will be to just zoop through the series when I eventually feel like doing that. Then Color Song from the YA section. This has a really pretty cover. Julia burns with a passion to paint so intense she hears colors sing. Forced into the convent of Santa Marta against her will, she dreamt of escape until her artistic gifts caught fire in the painting workshop of Maestra Humilita. But now Humilita is dead, and the new Maestra threatens to bar Julia from painting forever. So we've got convent, which I like, things set in convents, whether the convent is a good place or a bad place, and like magical artistry is also very up my alley. So I'm excited to try that one out. Tell Me Again How a Crush Should Feel, which is pink, which I like. It's also a lesbian coming-of-age romance because our main character has never had a crush until a really pretty and interesting girl shows up at her school, and I was like, oh, what is this feeling? So hopefully that will be fun. I don't read nearly as many YA romances as adult romances, but I'm willing to give them a try. And then from the manga section, Ace of Shades. And the reason I picked this one out is because there were pretty much no like first books of a series, but I think this one's a standalone. It doesn't have any like numbers on it or anything. So if it's standalone, I can just read the whole thing and not worry about having to acquire or track down other books. So this is called Alice in the Country of Clover. So since it does seem to have two different titles, maybe it is part of a series, but I'm going to try it out and see if I like it. The last one I have here is Queen of Swords, which I found in the adult fiction section, and I saw it like upside down part of the way across the big rows of boxes of books, but I saw swords and then I backed up and read upside down Queen. Yes, I'll take a look at that, and it's got quite a cool cover. It's by Sarah Donati, and that's all that I know about it. It's very heavy. Like, the paper that was used in this is the dense kind. Ooh, and it's got maps, which appear to be maps of real places. But yeah, willing to give it a try for a cover like that. So those are all the books that I bought this quarter. Thank you so much for watching. How about just a book stack for an emoji if you feel like it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! I'm going to add a quick review to the end of this video because sometimes it takes me forever to review books I've hauled, but I read this one like the day I did the haul, this one, and because I was feeling in a romance mood. But unfortunately, it is just as sexist as you would expect it to be, being published in 2009 and being a paranormal romance. It's a sequel. It's like a series of 3 romances, but as with most series romances, you don't really need to read the first ones to understand the second one. Like, the main character in this even acknowledges sometimes that her society and even the way that she acts is sexist, but she doesn't do anything to rectify that. And the book itself presents things in a very sexist way, so like there's a lot of that. I fit gender stereotypes really well, so I'm going to throw everyone who doesn't fit them under the bus, because I don't personally need feminism. In this case, it's a super heteronormative thing where every girl has to have a man by the time she's 17, or when she shifts into a werewolf for the first time, she'll die. So, get a boyfriend or death. And the only girl who doesn't have a boyfriend has something, like, wrong with her. So, we don't like it. We're gonna unhaul it.